Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. You are listening to the Story So Far podcast. I'm your host Tim, aka TD Fox, and I am the pirate of the Archetype Guild, also the Guild Master. Joining me is one of our staffers here. He's halfway in the guild, halfway out. We'll see. Ramsey Williams, aka Rambo Williams, aka Ram is War, the guru of wrestling. Please let him talk.
And talk I shall. What is going on, folks? What's happening? This is Rambo Williams, a.k.a. Ram is War. So I thought that I was going to go with that name, but honestly, I just think it's going to be fair. We all love music. We all love wrestling, so I'm just going to call it Body Slam Poetry. And with this symphony, I'm going to tell you about the long track called AEW Double or Nothing. So I know Tim hasn't really watched the show. I'm going to give you the full breakdown because, my God, this show was long. Now, I'm not talking about just a lot of nonsense happening. It was some good points in the show. Like, a lot of things happened, but it was... Man, if y'all seen WrestleMania 35 and y'all thought that show was long, this one was close to it. So we start off the show with the buy-in. And if you watch any of the previous showings, like I made a note in my head, if you grew up watching Sunday Night Heat before main shows, it was a lot of stuff that happened in those shows to set up for the actual pay-per-view. I think WWE and AEW needs to take notes of that because all this show was just a lot of build up to it. So it was a lot of promos and vignettes leading up to the show besides the match of Hook and Danhausen versus Smart, Mark Sterling, and Tony Nese.
Well, let me ask you real quick. How do you feel about Hookhausen? Because I know they only made it happen because of the fans' requests, but how do you truly feel about it?
I feel like I like the story. I really do enjoy the story. I like how it was, but I do feel like I don't really care for it for real. I like Hook by himself. I like Danhausen by himself. Do I like them together? The story that they're telling is fine. I don't see it going longer than a few more months, maybe. I'll give it maybe 3 months.
Okay.
But what about you? How you feel about it?
I feel that the storyline itself is the exact reason that I was hoping AEW was buying Ring of Honor.
Okay.
Because this storyline has brought Tony Nese into it. Mm-hmm. Tony Nese has been with the company for 2 months?
Yeah, I'll say it's been a short while.
But long enough. And his debut match was like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue right there. They have so much talent that, yes, they have Elevation, they have Dark, but I don't know how they're using Elevation or Dark. I don't think they're using it the same way that WWE uses superstars in main event, you know? It almost is like they're using it as developmental on its own, but they're putting big name stars on there as well, so it's like their version of live events without them being live events.
I agree with your point on that, but the only knock that I give WWE when it comes to like main event superstars, at least when you're watching Rampage or you're watching Dynamite, you see the lower graphic kind of showing like what happened, what were the results. With WWE, you don't see that. You don't see anything about it. Like, I don't hear about it unless
it's referenced.
Yeah, unless they reference it, which
they do a lot. They'll say, well, this person lost on main event, and it'll start a rivalry that we don't even realize it started on main event.
I haven't even heard that though. That's the thing. I've never heard that.
Back before I stopped watching WWE, I heard that a few times. I mean, it was Nexus era. It was between the Nexus to Raw Super Show era.
See, but that's when those two shows were prominent. Those shows ain't even on TV.
It's true.
Yeah, those shows, I think they record those before Raw or SmackDown anyway. So yeah, they're really giving them the treatment. Which I know with AEW, I know that they record Dark and Elevation before Dynamite and Rampage. But Yeah, I don't, man. I don't know. When it comes to those two shows, I don't know, man. It's the way that AEW is getting. I hate it because, like, even with the show, once we get into it, I mean, you look at some of these matches. A lot of these matches should have been on. It could have been on Rampage. It could have been on Dynamite. A lot of these probably could have been on Dark Elevation as well, especially the Darby Allin and Kyle O'Reilly one. Not knocking those two, but I mean that could have been on Rampage, to be honest. That could have been on Rampage main event. But going forward with this, yeah, the match with Hookhausen and Smart Mark and Tony Nese, I mean it was a fine match. Danhausen got the pin with his foot on Smart Mark's chest after Hookhausen destroyed the competition. It was a fine match, and we got to the actual biggest thing on the show. I know a lot of people was waiting on Hangman and Punk. I know a lot of people was waiting on the Owen Hart tournament finals. But this match, leading up to everything that's happened over the last few weeks, and then even with Saturday being the way it was, with MJF no showing the Fan Fest, and just all the controversy surrounding his contract, MJF versus Wardlow, the squash heard around the world. It was something to see.
Now, why do you think it happened? I heard a lot about it, and from my perspective, for the little information that I have, it's like, okay, this is a storyline. Mm-hmm. You gotta pay it off to Tony. He knows how to actually do a storyline and make it seem real as hell. But the other part of that is, this was a punishment. Because I have heard, me and you have different sources.
Yeah.
I've heard that, this whole thing is over contract negotiations and MJF wanting a bigger pay, mm-hmm. which I kind of get why he wants it. But not only is Tony not giving it to him, but nobody in the locker room, even the old guys that the AEW originals, no one is on MJF's side. I don't know if that's the same thing that happened to with Stu Grayson of the Dark Order. I don't really know the story there.
I don't either.
But I'm hearing nobody is on MJF's side because it sets a bad precedence. Because hey, you were paid, you agreed to your contract at this time. Mm-hmm. Now that we're making you a bigger star, you can't say, well, hey, I'm a bigger star now, I deserve more money. We are making you that bigger star. You deserve the money we'll give you, and when your contract's up, then we renegotiate, because that's what your credibility is. Right now, this young, promising star, in my opinion, is sinking his own ship.
I'm half and half with it, because I look at I split this into two parts. I split this from a business side and from a individual side. I agree with you. I'm sure that there's a lot of people in the behind the scenes of AEW who are not on MJF's side, because you're setting the bad precedents. Say AEW wasn't doing that good, now from how it started. I doubt that MJF would be complaining, because he's actually getting some alright money. He's getting his rookie contract or whatever. But the fact that he's gotten this over, and you did in fact sign a contract at the time, I do think it's BS that he's ranting and raving like he is about the contract. However, from MJF's side, I do think you need to put all your eggs into your ship and say, hey, I'm doing this, I'm getting butts in seats. I think that I should be getting more money. I do agree with that, because if you look at how they're paying a lot of these other people that they're bringing in, maybe MJF is like, y'all pulling in Adam Cole, you're pulling in, CM Punk, you're pulling in Bryan Danielson, you're bringing all these bigger names. Their money looking a little bit better than mine, but I'm the constant thing that's here that people are coming to see. So with that's why I say I'm split. I respect what MJF is doing as a person who's trying to make a living, but also at the same time, business is business, and when you sign on a dotted line, you gotta honor that. So, I mean, I've heard talks of Tony Khan wanting to meet with MJF to go over his contract and maybe do an extension, maybe boosting his pay. I've heard that MJF has declined it. I don't know what's going to happen after this. I mean, the whole Sasha Banks and Naomi thing already has my mind messed up as it is. So Yeah, it's a lot going on, which we'll talk about that here shortly after we talk about the show.
I'll say this. MJF is a star, and he's one of the most entertaining wrestlers in AEW. That being said, AEW gave him that shot.
Yeah.
So he needs to play their game because that's what he agreed to play. You talking about the other guys that's coming in. Well, think of who's coming in. Tony Nese isn't making that big money.
Yeah.
You know, Isaiah Swerve Scott probably ain't making that big money. Keith Lee probably ain't making that big money. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, William Regal, those are the guys. You know, John Moxley, Chris Jericho. You're talking about those guys coming in and making that big money. They are all world-class champions. I mean, Daniel Bryan has won the big belts in multiple companies. CM Punk has won the big belts in multiple companies. Chris Jericho,
Moxley too, yeah.
Moxley, Chris Jericho. I don't know what William Regal's ever held any heavyweight titles or world titles. That being said, that man stepping into the ring with any current active wrestler on this planet, you are stepping in the ring with a wrestling god. So, word to the wise, MJF is not on any of their caliber. Yes, he can go toe to toe with any of them mic wise, 100%, and that's good. But good mic skills only makes for a good manager. It does not make for a good wrestler.
Do you think that that's one thing that MJF may not be thinking about? I'm sure he's thought about this, but the one thing that pops up in my head is, if I'm MJF and I'm looking at the wrestling landscape, I'm looking at it as I probably should just go to Tony and talk to him about extension, because if you think about how MJF works, like with his mic skills, one of my friends said this yesterday too, that really stuck out. He's not going to be able to cut the promos like he does at AEW and WWE.
Correct.
He's not going to be able to do a lot of the shit that he does at these meet and greets. He's not going to be able to diss a little 11-year-old child.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to diss a child who, you know, is in a wheelchair. He's not going to be able to call them, you know, little shits or little, I hate the word, but can't call them cunts and all that stuff.
Being outside of AEW is the worst for MJF because you don't get that exposure in Impact Wrestling. You don't.
No.
I'm sorry, but you don't.
I don't even think that they're even on his radar. I hope they're not. And that's no diss to Impact, but that is a diss to Impact.
And with WWE umbrella, just like Taz, everyone talks about how much Taz isn't really that big of a deal. He ain't all what he's hyped up to be. Those same people fail to realize Taz was the shit before he got to WWE, and they restricted his moveset. They restricted his mic skills. They restricted his ability. They restricted his character altogether. You go to WWE, you are no longer whatever WWE saw in you in the indies. You are now a new toy that they can mold to their creation. And once you leave WWE, yeah, you can go and try to reclaim your roots, but everyone's going to see you as a WWE guy, and that's it for you.
I mean, you look at even how we're doing right now. I messed up and I called Bryan Danielson Daniel Bryan because that's what I'm accustomed to seeing. When I see Taz, whenever I see Taz, I know that's Taz. But whenever I say or I write it down, I'm so bad to now say Taz with 2 Z's instead of 1 because WWE has conditioned me. Oh, this is Taz. I think of Taz with the shades on, with the little like the button-up shirt and the pants they wrestle in. But Taz was a killer in ECW.
He was a monster. He was. You take a perfect example of Taz. You take what Roman Reigns is now in 2022 in WWE, and that's exactly who Taz was in ECW.
Oh man,
Taz was the mom. You're not going to ECW to see Sandman and Tommy Dreamer. No, you're going to ECW to see Taz wrestle Sandman and Tommy Dreamer. You don't care about who's there. You care about who Taz is wrestling because Taz is going to be in the ring with them.
That was the beauty of, say, Samoa Joe and Bryan Danielson in Ring of Honor, early Ring of Honor, and Samoa Joe and TNA. When you was going back and looking at the shows, Yeah, you go to TNA for the new company, but I mean you're going for those X Division guys.
You're going for Joe, Daniels, Kazarian, Styles, Low Key,
Motor City Machine Guns, individually and separately.
Lethal Consequences, together. Suicide.
Yeah,
you're going for that. I mean, you're not going for the Flying Elvises, but you're going for some stuff.
Now I will say this. Now it was one member of the Flying Elvises that I actually liked. It wasn't Sonny Siaki.
Jimmy Yang?
It wasn't Jimmy Yang. It was the other one. It was a third one. He had, because that first match that they had here in Huntsville, little shout out to Huntsville, but there was a match that they had against AJ Styles, Low Key, and Jerry Lynn. It was a 3-way. It was the first match in TNA history.
It was those three versus the Flying Elvis.
Yeah.
I actually got that recorded on the game, on the TNA Impact game.
Yeah. Because I remember they had that. Was it that DVD or it was? Maybe I borrowed that DVD from you.
I don't know, but you need to return some of my DVDs, you son of a bitch.
Wait, man, hold on. What DVDs of yours do I have? I forgot.
I think you might have Ladder Wars.
We did a swap, asshole. Because think about it, I let you borrow my Undertaker DVDs.
I do not have your Undertaker DVDs.
Well, what did I let you borrow?
I don't think you let me borrow shit. I gave you the Xbox game, Legion Suit Larry. Then I gave you Monday Night Wars, which is my favorite.
Okay, I still got that one too.
I'd have bite you in the penis. Anyway.
I still got that DVD. You know what? Whenever I go home in a little bit, or I go to my parents' house, I'm going to get that DVD. Now, I'm going to give it back to you.
Yeah. Well, what about the other ones? I'm writing a list. Okay. Anyway, so right. back to the matter at hand. Double or Nothing. So we got MJF being punished. Wait, do you think it was punishment or do you think it was?
That's another thing too, because I can see it being a work as well. But at the same time, with the same thing that happened with Cody, 2 months ago, it might not be a work. I don't know. It's questionable, but I could see it being a work because of the way that some of the things have happened. But then again, the whole match breakdown. I think it was cool. I mean, you see MJF getting his stick in, parading around the ring, not trying to wrestle Warlord, and then Warlord him with, 10 powerbombs. But before that, one of my favorite parts was MJF feigned the injury like he normally does, and then he's sitting there trying to get the ring out of his trunks, and Warlord and the referee are just standing there looking over his shoulder like, all right, this idiot doesn't know that we're sitting there looking at him. And he has this realization after the referee grabs the ring and just takes those power bombs. He took I want to say 2 or 3, or maybe he took 5, and then Warlord went to pin him, then got up and was like, nah, that's not enough. Started power bombing again, and it looked like for some reason MJF was trying to land on his elbows for some reason after a few of those power bombs. I don't know, but after that, won the match. They announced he was all elite, even though he already was all elite anyway. But yeah, it was a beautiful moment to end the feud, which I'm sure they'll probably have something going on down the road. But it was a good ending. But after this match, man, the wheels was turning for probably about 5 or 6 matches where I was like, boy, this show is really going down. The next match that we get to after that, we had the Elite versus Delete, which was Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys, fighting against Nick and Mac Jackson, a.k.a. the Young Bucks. And I will tell you,
wait, what did you call it? The Elite versus the Elite?
No, the Elite versus Delete.
Oh, versus Delete. Okay.
Now look, my Southern grammar got in the way and I said that. I apologize, but yeah. Delete versus the Elite.
Delete versus the Elite.
Deletes. Delete or Deletes, like I added S for some reason, versus the Elite. TheElite. Thank you, Grandma, for that spelling. My grandma's an English teacher. For all you that's here in the Northwest Alabama location, y'all know who I'm talking about. Anyway, but yeah, getting back to the match. If you go back and watch this match, everyone did well, honestly, except for Jeff. Jeff is I love Jeff Hardy. But we all know that Jeff is not, he's not the young Jeff that we knew back in, say, I mean, when he was having ladder matches with Undertaker, or he was having TLC matches or Money in the Bank matches. He's not the same guy. So he moves a little bit slower. He does botch a few things, and we've seen a lot of botches on this show. This is the point where from now until the end of the show, everyone probably had about 3 or 4 botches. But there was some cool spots in the match. There was a whisper in the wind that looked very terribly, but there was another thing to counter that, where Jeff Hardy did a swanton onto Matt Jackson, who was laying on the side of some steel steps. It was a cool visual. That was a good spot. There was another spot where they was going for poetry in motion, but Matt moved out of the way, and Nick Jackson did his little rope, I don't know what you want to call it, insecurity. You know, when they're doing the insecurity, it's like I can't really explain, but yeah, if you go back and you look at it, it's beautiful, looks great. It was some good back and forth action, but yeah, the match just really went slow for what the Young Bucks normally go to. So yeah, that's my take on it. How you feel about Jeff Hardy being in AEW?
Jeff is, first off, I don't like Jeff Hardy. I know everyone likes him.
I vote Matt over Jeff anyway.
Me personally, 100%, because the fact of the matter is, Jeff is a spot monkey, and Matt Hardy is a wrestler, but Matt Hardy has a bigger fan base because Matt Hardy has a smaller fan base because Jeff is a spot monkey, and the world sees Matt Hardy as the lesser Hardy. Well, I don't want to say the world. Either
I say the
WWE
hardcore fans know.
Yeah.
I think the hardcore fans know longevity. Who's going to have the bigger star power?
It's like you know, there's a difference between wrestling fans and then WWE fans.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And the WWE fans are what the majority of the world sees. So the majority of the world also fall in line with the WWE fans. It's like you hear about Jeff Hardy more than Matt Hardy. So you're not going to know Matt Hardy if you don't care. And Jeff Hardy never got pushed away like Matt Hardy did after that whole situation where WWE rewarded an adulterer and a hoe and fired the victim. I ain't saying nothing wrong.
Well, you made a good point though.
His best friend did him dirty. His girlfriend did him dirty, and his goddamn boss did him dirty.
But you made a good point though about you were just speaking about how WWE fans and how wrestling fans view the Hardy Boys. I think about that all the time because even whenever I watch other sports or different mediums, they don't refer to wrestling as wrestling. They refer to it as like you look at Sports Center. They'll say, "Oh, he's not doing a wrestling move; he's doing a WWE move." Or they'll say, "Oh, it looks like not a battle royal." They'll say, "Oh, it looks like a Royal Rumble," or "Oh, this is wrestling-esque. This is WWE-esque." And it pisses me off so much because I'm like, y'all see it as just WWE, but WWE is not wrestling. Wrestling has WWE, has WCW, ECW, AEW, have everything else. So that's the main thing as a wrestling fan that ticks me off besides the obvious wrestling is fake comment. That pisses me off more because it's like there's more to wrestling than that. Let me just
say this. I don't get the wrestling is fake stuff. I don't know why you watch that. Wrestling is fake. I had this dude at work tell me that. I'm like, okay, so what do you watch on TV that you get enjoyment out of that's real? Mm-hmm. Because guess what? All this shit is fucking TV show and movies. I watch. There's one guy over here. Wrestling is fake. Motherfucker watched fucking Captain Marvel. You think there's a woman coming down from space for real? You freaking idiot. This dude oh man, wrestling's fake. His favorite shit's Godzilla. Motherfucker, you think there's a giant lizard under the ocean?
But that's how people do it though. And another thing that pisses me off, it's like when people say, "Oh, I used to watch wrestling until I found out it was fake." But my thing is, okay, so you watched something until you heard something that was obvious. But then you also discredit something that you used to love because, you found out it wasn't real. Okay, so let me ask you this. First things first, when you have children and they lose a tooth and they ask if the tooth fairy is coming, are you going to kill this child's dreams because, this child wants to get $1 for their tooth? You going to just sit there and let the tooth rot under the pillow for a few weeks? And, I don't know where the tooth fairy is. I guess it's on vacation. Or are you going to do the thing where you're going to go along the ride of a wrestling show and you're actually going to enjoy it for the entertainment? That's the only thing about sports entertainment I like is because of their word entertainment. It is entertaining. But for some reason, I don't know, the world sees wrestling as this bad thing when it's honestly probably one of the best forms of entertainment. For me, it's my favorite form of entertainment besides, basketball. But still, I don't know, man.
I mean, borderline. Any motherfucker that says wrestling is fake, so I don't know why you watch it, or, bash you because wrestling's fake, them gotta be some boring people. Because they don't go to movies, they don't watch TV, they don't use Redbox, they don't use
But
Disney
that's the
Plus.
thing, they do though. That's the thing. They're the same ones.
Stupid.
They're the same ones that be like, I used to watch wrestling's fake. Or I say, I'm a wrestling fan. You do know wrestling's fake. I didn't ask you for that fucking dumbass. I asked you, what do you watch? And then you come to me and I tell you, I enjoy watching wrestling. I DJ. I like these things. But then I say the word wrestling. It never comes out with someone saying, that's cool. Like, what makes you like wrestling? It never dives into that. It's either they say, I used to watch wrestling, but this. The only person that's ever actually said that and actually made a good comment about that was my ex. And that actually stirred a lot for us to be able to enjoy where we went to shows. But besides that, like, everybody else has been so negative about it. It always pissed me off and I gotta come at their neck. And then we probably stop talking. Or, I just start killing them with my rambling of, you motherfucker, you done fucked up now because you dissing somebody I love. Anyway, going back to the show. This match, it wasn't shit, to be honest. This could have been, it's a pay-per-view quality match, like on paper. But the execution, obviously, the Hardys are not, 2006 reunion Hardys. And they're not even the Hardys from the last time we seen these two in the ring. But
you think they're going to get gold? The
Hardys?
Yeah.
I'm sure they will. I don't want them to be honest. It's just like something we're going to see in a little bit towards the end of the show. I like seeing my favorite wrestlers come back and have matches, but at the same time,
you don't want them to be mad. Like that's the one thing WWE kind of did right. There's a such thing as a part-timer for a reason.
Yes. Yeah. But at the same time, sometimes they do go overboard with that because you look at Brock Lesnar and...
part-timers
not Brock Lesnar. I'll put Brock Lesnar as a special attraction because he can actually still go. I'm thinking about, like, your Goldbergs. I'm thinking about your Goldbergs because that's the only one that sticks out there. I'm like, okay, you did Kevin Owens wrong. You did The Fiend wrong. And you done... I feel like...
Are you talking about Universal Champion specifically?
Yes, that's the main run that I'm thinking
Finn
about.
Balor.
Oh, yeah. Finn Balor. Hell.
Because he got injured, but they never even gave him a second shot.
Well, no, we can bring Brock into this. Because, Finn Balor, that match he had with Lesnar, it was cool, but still, we could use Balor in a better way. Ricochet got destroyed. Shit, who else did a part-timer make look like shit? Damn, I know I'm missing a lot right now. Hell, just anytime that legend comes back and make someone new look bad. Look at the Ascension. The way they got buried years ago.
They literally got buried by a team of legends.
Heath Slater got beat up for weeks leading up to the Raw 1000.
Heath Slater's a special case, though, because he actually had that idea. That was his idea.
I know, but still,
And honestly, it's relevant. Like, I don't look up Heath Slater on YouTube unless I'm looking up him versus the Legends. And I'll do that occasionally, because, you know what? And this is something I said to you previously. In a way, you need jobbers, but a jobber isn't simply a jobber. Sometimes a jobber, you can take it as talent enhancement.
Yeah.
But sometimes a jobber is somebody that you literally will put a belt on just to be a transitional champion. I personally don't really like Ric Flair, but I feel like he is just a overhyped jobber. And I know y'all are going to be like, that is dumb. That doesn't make any sense. He is like a 16-time world champion. He is nowhere near a job. Think about it. Do any of you actually like watching Ric Flair's matches for Ric Flair? Or do you like watching his matches because you like how entertaining he is, especially when he's taking the hits and losing?
I'll say for myself, I grew up watching wrestling in 98. But I more so started watching wrestling, like actually knowing what was actually going on once, say, 2001, 2002 came up and I was maybe like 8 or 9. So I could understand a little bit better than a 4-year-old in 98. But when I started seeing Ric Flair, I enjoyed his entertaining matches more. Back in the day, I heard that his matches were, great, especially when you think about Steamboat and Sting. But I've never seen the appeal to go back and watch it.
Well, I'll tell you right now, because I have. Ric Flair, those matches were amazing. But they weren't amazing because Ric Flair is this amazing champion. They were amazing because it's fun to watch Ric Flair lose. He makes it very entertaining. You need somebody that's going to sell great. Just like The Rock does not mind selling a Stone Cold Stunner.
And it's always beautiful when he does it.
It's always beautiful when he does it. Ric Flair is one of those guys, he will sell a finger poke to death. I mean it. Ric Flair is they call him one of the dirtiest players in the game. He is one of the greatest sellers of all time. And that right there is why he's so entertaining to watch. That right there, when you hit Ric Flair and then he takes 2 steps forward and just someone kicks the feet from under him like that, it's amazing.
Would you put him in the top 5 of sellers of all time?
Hell yes.
I want to hear your top 5 real quick. We ain't got to elaborate on, but just give me 5.
I'm just going to do the top 5 in WWE.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so top 5, thinking about it. Ric Flair at number 1. The Rock at number 2. Kurt Angle at number 3. Chavo Guerrero at number 4. And Heath Slater at number 5.
We got a totally different list.
I will go into the meat and potatoes of why I picked my 5.
We can say that for another. We're gonna say that for another show because mine. I do got The Rock on mine. I don't have no particular order for this, to be honest. Rock is on there. Flair is on there. Brock Lesnar is on there.
For sellers?
Think about it. Think about his match with Daniel Bryan.
Where he got kicked in the nuts?
Just think about that whole sequence of him getting kicked in the dick and then taking that knee. Think about him. I'm trying to think of another one. Him against AJ. His matches with Taker. I'm thinking about a few of these matches. Hell, his matches with Angle. Just the way he sells, a lot of people underrate Brock as a seller. I had 2 more. Randy Orton. I remember him taking that stunner at a Survivor Series 2003. And a lot of his matches with Taker. How many I got? I want to say that. Yeah, I said Brock, Flair, Brock, Orton, and I got a 2-way tie because I want to put Shawn Michaels on there, but also Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh my God, you're right, Kyle O'Reilly. First off, I'm going to swap out Chavo for John Cena. He actually is a good seller.
I'm not one of those people that not seen it. Did I like him like having his reign of terror like Triple H over the title? No.
No, I hate it.
His match work, I feel like his matches got way better whenever I say 2013, like 2012, 2013, John's matches started getting better. 2014 to now, his matches flawless. All right, there's flaws, but they're significantly better than what we got in say 2002 to 2011. The only matches in between that I actually say I would like that he had, obviously the one with Punk. His match with Umaga was very underrated, very good as well. The one with Van Dam at One Night Stand. His match that really put me on the scene for real. His match in 2003 at No Mercy against Kurt Angle. That match was a banger. That match was like really good. If you've never seen that match, go out and look at it. It was actually on the John Cena World Life DVD. It came out like 2005. Little tidbit for you. But yeah, going back to the show like we were saying, then we were still talking about we were talking about the Hardys and Young Bucks. See, that's going to be the thing about this show. Me and you get on these little
Hey, that's what the people want. They want to hear our opinions.
Well, all right, we'll get back to this opinion because my main thing is Rambo, Ramsey, whatever you want to call it. I am still this show. I was sitting there just watching, like, bro, what the fuck? I'm tired. So going back into this tiring train, yeah. Hardy's won was Swanton. That was cool. So then we get to probably one of the botchiest matches that you are going to see this year. And that was, and I love both of these women to death. I think that their stars keep on rising every single day that they be able to wrestle. But the chemistry with these two women was not there. We had the TBS Championship match as Jay Cargill goes against Dark Order's Anna Jay.
Okay, well, real quick, let me just put it here. First off, Anna Jay is so beautiful.
Very.
She is not even beautiful.
Very.
She is fine.
I vouch.
Second off,
Jade is too. That's my second. But go ahead.
Second off, I just want to say how I want to give a shout out to AEW, who's never going to listen to this probably.
Not a shot in hell.
No televised wrestling promotion ever has had a dedicated mid-card women's televised title until AEW. You will argue that WWE has had women hold mid-card titles. That is true. Women have held the Intercontinental title before, but guess what? That was not a woman-exclusive title. And it was all the times women that were being built as able to go up against men.
And they never had the screen time either. Just
yes, that's true.
Just going along with it, like look at Jacqueline with the Cruiserweight title. Or you look at...
Didn't Molly Holly also get the Cruiserweight, or was it the Hardcore title?
Molly got the Hardcore title.
Okay.
But it was a lot of women that got the Hardcore title around that time. I think one of Godfather's hoes got it. Maybe that was Victoria that won it, I think. I'm not 100% on that, but yeah. Continue, my fault. I thought about that too. I was just thinking like, damn, like I think about women not having the time to really, show off their stuff as mid-card champions. China really didn't get time to shine with it as well, though.
100%, because when you think about it, WWE says they have this women's revolution, and they're doing all this. They even had an all-women pay-per-view. Well, guess what? The first televised wrestling promotion in America to have women's tag titles was TNA. They had the Knockouts tag titles.
I want to say WWF had women's tag titles.
WWE did something, and I don't know if this is before or after TNA, but they did something where they split the Divas titles up with Lay Cool. Was it the Divas or the women's titles? They split them up with Lay Cool because
it was the women's title.
Yeah, and they tried to act like they were tag teams, but it was really just the women's tag team title. It was not an official tag team title thing. And yeah, that could have been something. But no, TNA said, let's do this. Let's get the ball rolling with this. And they did this. I don't think WWE did it previously before that Lay Cool thing. Am I wrong?
So, and alright, so yeah. So it was actually in what it looks like it was May 13th, 1983.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I thought that I remember whenever they was talking about this idea. I thought I remember them coming up with this, but yeah, they actually replaced the NWA's World's Ladies Wrestlers Tag Team Champion. That's a long ass name, but yeah, they replaced that name and those belts with the WWF Women's Tag Team Championships. They retired those February 14th, 1989. The first champions was Velvet McIntyre and Princess Victoria. The final champions was the Glamour Girls, Lilani Kai, and Judy Martin.
Well, I'll take it back then. Wait,
A lot that's not something. You're not the first person to do it. I thought that as well. I think that I got that from.
Wait, was that televised though, or was that?
I don't. WWF was really back and forth with that. I don't know if that was televised.
My statement might possibly still be true, so we're gonna put a pin in that until later.
So why are you trying to go against my word?
Why was you trying to go against mine?
Disaster. Okay. Anyway.
So, the point is, AEW did an amazing thing by giving us a women's mid-card title. Hopefully, it's clearly not all that they need to help the women's division, but hopefully it's helpful getting a good step in the right direction.
What do you think is going to help with AEW in their women's division? Because I feel like that's the only knock to AEW is that the women's the way that they televise the women, it's like they lump them into like 30 minutes or 15 to 30 minutes, and it's like nothing. Like even the build to this, I will be honest, I was really pissed off a few weeks ago watching AEW Dynamite, and it was like a segment where something happened. Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb had a segment, and then the Ring of Honor Women's Championship was defended that same night. And that show, they really like had me burnt down on wrestling because I was like this close. Like I was about to rip my fucking hair out.
So the issue with AEW's women's division is AEW's new.
Yeah,
that's the issue. And what I mean by that is, okay, you want to look at WWE. No one cared about the women. Mm-hmm. Period. No one cared about the women until around the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era where women got sexy and started dressing skimpy and started having strip matches and jello matches and mud wrestling matches and dressing provocatively and hunching on people. No one actually cared about women's wrestling until then, and it was because it was provocative women. That was back in the Playboy era where they would actually have divas pose for Playboy.
I still don't understand why they had mud wrestling matches here.
Because it's a bunch of old guys in the boardroom saying, let's watch hot women and we can legally do it by doing this.
Could that be a white people thing?
Of course it's a white people thing.
Okay.
Anyway, and then you think, okay, well how is it they're popular now? It's because they took that and said, hey, you know what? No, this is wrong. We're going to stop doing what we're doing and we're going to help be changed. We're going to give our women a voice. But then they went to the popular teen girl era where you got Lay Cool, you got Beth Phoenix, you got a woman representing every era of a girl's high school. Not era, every section of a girl's high school. You got the nerd girls here, you got the weird goth with Victoria, you got the cheerleaders, you got the girl next door with Kelly. You got somebody representing something for everybody. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, okay, well, what else can we do with this? The women's revolution. Hey, we're women and we're doing it, but now we're going to show you that we can do it better. And that's where WWE, they went from no one caring to people caring for the wrong reasons to people beginning to care for the right reasons to being, hey, we are all inclusive.
Yeah.
TNA, on the backhand, has said, hey, we already know from the get-go that women are where it's at. So we're taking these leftovers that WWE threw away and we're making them relevant. WWE.
That was my heyday, man. TNA around that time between 2005 to say 2009, 2010.
Yeah, before the Bischoff era.
Yeah,
the thing with TNA.
We gotta do an episode on that.
Oh yeah, the thing with TNA was they understood what they were doing with the women specifically and said, hey, we're gonna leave in the sex appeal, but we're also gonna take the hey, we can do it too. And they blended it. They had beautiful women, ugly women, women of all sizes, women of all ages wrestling, you'd have intergender tag team, real tag team wrestling, like that shit Lay Cool was doing, and they would put on beautiful matches with sex appeal as well. You had some that were doing sex appeal, some that weren't doing sex appeal, some being better managers for the men wrestlers than women ever were. They were doing a completely different thing.
Because when you look at, when I'm just thinking about the landscape, you look at the matches like Gail Kim and Awesome Kong had. You look at the matches that Awesome Kong and Taylor Wilde had. You look at the star that was being...
Awesome Kong and Tara. That right there, hashtag Victoria. That right there got me so... That was the first match I saw of TNA, actually.
For real?
That was the first match I saw of TNA.
Wow.
Was Awesome Kong versus Tara, with sending her spider down and just going in. Dude, it was like a 3... I feel like it was like a 3-month rivalry.
I think that's why I was like in and out on TNA. I was still loving TNA at the time, but I think I was in and out of it. And you may have mentioned about the first... What was the first TNA? I think I was just passing through on my TV watching Fox Sports South. I think it was... I want to say it was AJ against someone. Maybe it was a jobber. But I remember what really got me hyped was I seen Petey Williams hit the Canadian Destroyer. I was like, oh my fucking goodness.
Well, here's the thing. Like, as you see, TNA, they realized where WWE was failing, and they picked up the pieces from there. Now, TNA, the reason that they're doing a decline on their women is because they're doing a decline overall.
Oh, yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Then you got Lucha Underground. They said, hey, the women are literally the same as the men. Women can win it big, too. I mean, and let's not forget, TNA should have credit for being the first televised wrestling program that had an exclusively male's heavyweight title that a woman won, Tessa Blanchard. And I'm saying exclusively because Lucha Underground should be recognized as the first televised North American product that was had a heavyweight title that was both male and woman compatible. It was an intergender title that anyone could challenge for regardless of your gender.
That was one Sexy Star one, correct?
Yeah, sexy bitch. Hey, look, if you try to break someone's arm in the ring,
yeah, I don't say that.
You don't deserve
it. And who was this? She shot on Rosemary, right?
Yep,
yeah,
Rosemary.
Well, yeah, yeah. But just going off of what Tim was saying as far as the history, you see how that lineage just came on and where women's wrestling has got to now. I feel like both of these competitors, both Anna Jay of the Dark Order and Jade Cargill, I feel like both of them have the potential to be greater stars, especially Jade Cargill. That's not a knock on Anna Jay, but just looking at her athletic physique and what she's already accomplished, being undefeated is impressive. But their chemistry was just off. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to get to some of the other matches too.
I just realized I messed up.
What?
The whole thing was why is AEW's women division failing?
Oh yeah. Go back to your point. My fault.
Well, as I just laid out all of that on the table, all of that isn't just random information. The reason all that is relevant is because AEW is trying to make a product with, at the time, all new women that the world never heard of. The issue with that is when you're competing against WWE, who's had years to cultivate, when you're thinking of TNA, who has mastered the art of fixing someone's broken mirrors to make something clean, then you have to think, okay, well, what can AEW really do? Every time a WWE person goes over there, they get shit on because y'all just can't be happy with people having jobs. So what are they? I mean, that's the truth.
Yeah, it is.
So what are they to do? You know, they can't throw out the sex appeal. That's going to be sexist, and that's going to be the exact opposite of what they wanted to do. Their message.
Yeah.
They can't just throw it out with crazy, astonishing matches because they still got to get their bearings. They got to make you invested in these people. I can't say for a fact what's wrong with the product now, but I can say for a fact the reason why it's not the same as everybody else, and it's because it's too new. It has seen where everyone else has failed, but just because you know where they failed doesn't mean you won't know where you fail. That being said, here's how you fix the problem. This is a 1-month fix. start a slow building storyline. I say slow building, but it's a 1 month fix that leads to a 5v5 10-woman tag team match. That gives spotlight on every woman in that match. And by the time that match is done, no more of this 2 or 1 or 2 female matches, women's matches. You need to do one match for the men's and women back to back simultaneously. One, like if you gonna open it with a woman, then it needs to end. The main event needs to be a man. You need to do woman, man, woman, man, woman, man. That's how you do it. That's how you make them more relevant. Because right now, all the male, and I hate this, it's the facts though. All the men wrestlers, they are more recognized because men wrestling is put more ahead of women wrestling. Period. Yeah. So you know Keith Lee before you know Mia Yim. I don't care if you disagree with it. It's the facts. You know Isaiah Swerve Scott before you're going to know Ruby Soho, because all people know of Ruby is the Riot Squad, and she was injured for a good majority of the time. So no one really knows what she's actually capable of, because either you don't remember or you weren't watching at the time. Meanwhile, Isaiah Swerve Scott, you were definitely tuning in to NXT and you definitely saw him. I hate that. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to agree with that. Yeah. But that's the facts. I don't even watch Scott. I don't even watch Swerve Scott. I really don't. I haven't had the chance to yet.
We're gonna get to him in a little bit too.
So the way AEW fixes their problem is they need to do that 1 month build up of a 5v5. Here's the top 5 heels. Here's the top 5 faces, and then do more women's matches. You got to roll out more, because they give people enough time to see these characters and get invested with these characters, because they got some stars. Serena Deeb, Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, Jade Cargill, Ruby Soho. Those 5 right there. Nyla Rose. I'm not going to try to be controversial about it, but you know Nyla Rose. You have stars right there. You have the ability to use those stars. But if they don't get enough screen time, then why would I care? Yeah. I don't like Brock Lesnar because most of the year he's not there. So why would I care about him? Same thing goes for who's a good example? Well, here's a perfect example. Same thing goes for Randy Orton. He's there all the time. He is not no part-timer. He is Mr. No Days Off unless he's injured, which is why I care about him.
He's actually off TV right now.
Because of an injury that I don't think he might. This is going to be sad to say. He was not bragging. He was very proud of how long he's been able to be in the business, not a few weeks ago, and saying that his goal is to last longer than Triple H, Goldust, Undertaker. He wants to last longer than all of them in the ring. He wants to have a longer career. Well, it looks like that might have been pulled from under the rug from him. Yeah. So, unfortunately. But continue. Sorry for this segue about how to fix AEW's women problem.
Oh, no, you good. No, we're gonna get back to it, and we're going to try to nut these out. Not in a quick fashion, but at least try to bounce through this without me really elaborating. No, I don't want to elaborate on, because I'm going to get mad, because the show was long. It was really long. So, like, with this one, like I said, this match, Jade and Anna didn't have any chemistry, but the highlights came towards the end. Smart Mark came out, tried to help Jade by throwing in a crutch to Jade. It backfired. Anna used it on Jade, and it was a kick out. What's his name? Hungy. Can't think. Part of the Dark Order. I'm about to get my notes out because I cannot think of his name. That's bad that I know a man by the name of Hungy, but don't know his actual name. That's sad. Damn, they're really going to eat me up in the comments about this, because y'all know who I'm talking about. Part of Dark Order.
Wait, John Silver?
Yes, John Silver. I couldn't think of Silver's name.
What is wrong with you, dude?
Look, I couldn't think of his name. I had Stu Grace's name in my head the whole time.
I'm done. Get out of my house.
Anyway. But bigger than that, we had the debut of a new manager for Jade as well.
A new manager for Jade?
You heard me correct. After John Silver hit Smart Mark with a brainbuster on the outside, who comes out to distract Anna Jay? We get the debuting Stokely Hathaway.
Who?
So that is wasn't it Malcolm Bivens in NXT? Short black guy, bald head. He was the manager of a Diamond Mine.
Look, I wasn't watching NXT when Diamond Mine happened.
Well, anyway, the guy is phenomenal on the mic. He's a great manager as well. I think he's going to do great things, especially with Jade. Jade hit the what's her move called? The Queen Slayer, I believe. Anyway, she hit her finisher off the top rope, and yeah, it was phenomenal. I think I butchered the name of her. No, Jaded. Yep, I just thought I said no. I think it was Jaded, but yeah, she hit the off the top rope, and then at the end, we had a stare down between. Get these names. You had a stare down of the bag section with Jay Cargill, Red Velvet, and Kiera Hogan. And you had the debuting Athena, a.k.a. formerly known as Ember Moon, Chris Statlander, and Anna Jay. I kind of hated this because Anna Jay just got beat by Jay Cargill. And now she's sizing up the bag section with Chris Statlander and Ember Moon, a.k.a. Athena.
Well, first off, I want to say I saw that Ember Moon, a.k.a. Athena, debuted, and I thought that was amazing. But I don't think that is a bad thing that she just got whooped. Well, hey, you guys got multiple. You guys got a group. Now I got backup too. That's sorry I had moved. If y'all heard me sound weird, but yeah, it went from hey, y'all got backup to now I got backup. I feel like that's that moment.
I mean, I wasn't completely hating it. It was just when I thought about it, I was just like, this is kind of cringe though. A small bit. Not a lot bit, but a small bit. Then we got next the trios match. We got the House of Black, which we have Brody King, Malachi Black, and Buddy Matthews going up against Death Triangle, which is Adrian Neville, which is now Pac. You also got Penta, and you have Rey Fenix. I'll take over as Tim watches. He has WWE 2K going in the background. He has his
Look, the way to enjoy this game is to make a universe and you book all the matches and make the matches and make the wrestlers and all that.
Well, while he's doing that, I'll give him the rundown of this match as well. This was probably
match of the night.
Probably match of the night. I want to say this or the Anarchy match that happens later on is match of the night. Yeah, everyone's just going full force. This really was a testament to the strength of Brody King and just his power. I mean, they had to triple team him a lot of times. There's a lot of good diving. There's a scary moment when Brody King went for a senton to the outside, but he kind of jumped a little bit short, so his shoulders and back clipped the side of the ring, which was a bad visual. But I mean, everything before it was cool because everyone else had hit their dives. The ending came where Pac was going to the top to hit a red arrow, or I don't know what he's calling now, but he was about to go for the red arrow again onto Malachi Black when the lights hit. And we finally got it. We finally, after I don't know how many months, Veer Mahan must have been out there kicking it with Julia Hart, because we finally got the debut of heel Julia Hart. She sprayed black mist into Pac's face, and then we got the House of Black winning in the end, and the visual of House of Black with Julia Hart was shown. So I am a happy camper. Great match overall. And then we got back to the slow ass action as Samoa Joe and Adam Cole, they had a fine match. This was the finals of the Owen Hart Cup. It was an alright match. Honestly, this could have been. I know it was the tournament finals, but the style of the match, it wasn't anything that just wowed me. I mean, it could have been saved for Dynamite, but I guess I already know because of the significance of the match that they have on the show. Adam Cole ended up winning, beating Joe with the boom. And then after that, we had Adam Cole's significant other, Britt Baker, going up against Ruby Soho. I didn't care for this match. The one highlight of this match, honestly, was Ruby Soho's terrible sharpshooter. Wasn't even sharpshooter. She had her like in the sharpshooter position, but she was down on her knee and like sitting a little bit. It looked terrible. It was bad. Rebecca won. Cool. Then Owen Hart's Widow had came out and had acknowledged the two, awarded them with the new championships. The belts look beautiful. She did her segment, her commemoration speech about the tournament and how next year her being a part of that as well. So it was a beautiful moment. Really long, but yeah, I know that they want to give that to her. Her well wishes to the fans and stuff. So that was a cool moment. I'm trying to get to something where I can actually. You're gonna like this one. Mixed trios match. We have Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. In the debuting, Paige Van Zant going up against Sammy Guevara, Frankie Kazarian, and Ty Conti. Now, the roles of this match has reversed. So now, Scorpio Sky and the American Top Team contingent, they are now the faces. And Sammy Guevara, Ty Conti, and Frankie Kazarian are now the heels.
That is so weird.
Yeah, they did it. The only reason why they did it was because people was booing the hell out of Ty and Sammy for being all up in each other's asses the whole time.
I mean, it's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a fair swap, but boy, the road that we got to this, like, Paige Van Zandt, I know that she's going to get better with time. This was her first TV match, and it was on pay-per-view, but I mean, you could just see how green she was in the ring. It was no denying it. Which, I mean, that's not really knock on her. I mean, what can you expect from her first time being in the ring? But you can tell that there is some development. The only highlight to this match, honestly, was that Sammy was trying to hit Frankie with a super kick, but he ended up hitting Ty Conti, and I was hyped for that. I don't know why, but I was so lit because the visual was so crazy. American Top Team contingent, they won the match. It was nothing really significant. It was a lot of colors in the match that I liked too. Like, it was a lot of springboard colors and like variations of the RKO that I really love. So that was nice. And then we got another one of the very, 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 very. And I'm gonna keep on saying very because I was still trying to figure this out. This match could have been on Rampage, like I said earlier. It could have been on Dynamite. It was Darby Allin against Kyle O'Reilly. Sting is injured right now. He got penalized. What was it, a week or two ago? On Dynamite, the Elite had put Sting's leg into a chair, jumped on it, hurt his ankle, so now he's out. So this was the revenge match, basically. And the only highlight was, I don't know if Darby had botched this match. Did you see the spot that happened?
No, I did not.
Okay, I'm about to find it for you. Darby had actually went for a suicide dive on Kyle O'Reilly. But in the midst of him going for it, I don't know if he was going for like a front flip or what. They did like a front flip, like, I really don't know. I gotta find it for you. But the match, it really wasn't nothing. It was hard hitting. I mean, obviously in the Darby Allin match, he's gonna see how bad he can hurt himself. Kyle O'Reilly gonna see how bad he can hurt you. But yeah, it was just, oh man, it was a scary dive. It really was something to see. Tell me this: what is your thoughts on not only Darby Allin, but what do you think is going to happen with Roderick Strong? Because there's rumors that he's been trying to get out of his contract. He's trying to get out of NXT because basically they're not, giving what he wants. He's not being used. And grass is apparently greener on the other side.
No opinion.
No opinion.
Look, we've seen this song and dance so many times. One of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to offer him more money and he's going to stay. Actually, no, I take that back. Either they're going to send him home and he's going to wait his contract out at home.
Like Mustafa Ali.
Or he's going to walk out. It's one of the two things. Or the third option. They book him and he takes his ass to work and just waits. And when time gets there, then he's either going to resign or won't.
Or they probably going to release him, which I hope that they do. All because I want all the wrestlers to be happy, man. That's all I want. That's all I really want. I just want wrestlers and wrestling fans to be happy. But
like, how many times did people like try to get out of their contract only to be offered more money when it was time to resign and sign? Like, oh, I hate it here. I hate this. And oh, hey, how about an extra zero? Well, I love it. We got the Good Brothers. We got the Revival. Who else? Shit, I know there's more. Those are just the two I'm thinking of right now. But you know there's more.
Well, people that want to leave and then they got paid money, they're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah. Like, that's just how it works. Like, here's the thing. If you want to be a wrestler, then there's two things. There's two things that are going to define where you go. Besides the fact that if people want you. You're either going to A, strive to go to WWE where you can make that money, or B, strive to go somewhere else where you'll be happy. It's money over happiness. It's very rare that it's both with WWE. Mm-hmm. Not everyone's going to be Brock Lesnar. Not everyone's going to be John Cena. Not everybody's going to be Randy Orton. You got some people out there that are Tyler Ricks, or whatever he is now, which he was a wrestler that was very good in the ring, but was disliked by John Cena and got buried. Mr. Kennedy, who was disliked by Randy Orton and John Cena, and so he got pushed down.
His star was, oh my god, man. I was in love with Mr. Kennedy then. Like, the way he was in the ring. And his run to TNA in the beginning was dope too. His rivalry with Kurt Angle was top notch.
Oh, it was great. It was one of the best rivalries of the entire year.
Yeah, their cage match was good. The segments that they had. I remember one when he was talking about this post-match ass whooping brought to you in part by, and did his Mr. Anderson spiel. Great times though.
It's like in WWE, you have to play that political game, and you have to be liked. If you're neither, then you suffer. Look at Mick Foley. He is somebody that has had a better career than most would have in WWE, playing by the rules that he plays by, and he has the absolute best that you could hope for. Because even Daniel Bryan knew when to play by the rules, you know. So that's what I'll say to that is Roderick Strong. Either he's going to play the game or he won't. Well,
I would tell you, this match really spoke to... I look at this match, I'm like, man, like, I think about what the Elite is going to be if he, finally does show up in AEW. I also just think about the people he would have great matches with. Besides the backbreaker against Darby Allin, I would love to see it. But, as far as the match that we've seen, Kyle O'Reilly beat Darby Allin. He hit like 3 penalty kicks on Darby. Besides the scary botch, if you want to see hard-hitting action, this one is one. If you like seeing botches, this is the match to go see. After this, we have the AEW Women's World Championship match as Thunder Rosa defends against Serena Deeb. I'm a big fan of Serena Deeb in the ring. I love her technical work. I'm not too big on Thunder Rosa, to be honest. Like, she's cool. I like her gimmick. I like her as a person as well. But I don't know, wherever I see her in the ring, I'm not too far, like, she's not really over with me. That's definitely not a knock. It's just why I personally, like, I don't love or hate her.
You're not going to be a fan of everybody. Like, I'm not a fan of Undertaker at all.
What?
But I respect him. I respect his game.
Hold on, wait. Time out. We're gonna shut this show down. Undertaker is my favorite. I don't want to say technical wrestler because obviously for me, technical wrestler it would have to be Kurt Angle or Chris Benoit.
He's not really a technical wrestler.
Well, no, because when people say wrestler, like I put this on my social media. I put that the greatest wrestler being the keyword wrestler. So like technician or like all around in-ring worker. My favorite wrestler is Kurt Angle. But my favorite character would be The Undertaker. But yeah, whenever I said Kurt Angle, people shitted on me. They was like, "Oh, Kurt Angle, like great wrestler." I was like, "Bro, y'all really didn't look at the segment. It was wrestler. Y'all didn't say greatest like character in wrestling."
I mean, even then, Kurt Angle's pretty up there. I don't care what anyone says. The thing is, like I said, not everybody's gonna like everybody.
But you got to saying The Rock and stuff. Like I like The Rock's character. I feel like as far as in ring, you don't have as many 5-star matches as Angle. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Undertaker paved the way for a lot of wrestlers that I do like. That being said, I don't really like his gimmick. And a lot of those wrestlers that he paved the way for, I don't really care for their gimmicks too much either.
I'm going to punch you.
I mean, I'm just speaking facts. Like, yeah, The Fiend is cool, and I like him and all. I never wanted to see him with a title. The Boogeyman is cool, but it's just a gimmick character.
Man, Boogeyman came up with that himself. He didn't get that from no Taker. Taker wasn't eating no worms.
I mean, you cannot say that there wasn't no inspiration there.
He got that from Kevin Sullivan.
Kevin Sullivan is another one. No, I'm thinking of Kevin Thorne. Kevin Thorne, actually. Yeah, that's another one.
Kevin Thorne got that from Gangrel.
Gangrel is another one.
Gangrel got that from Blade.
Really? Nigga? Really?
Okay, maybe not. But you're not going to shit on Undertaker. Okay, as I see, I guess Frost is okay. If y'all get to see Tim's,
they won't. I'm not recording this.
Well, anyway, he got a character named Justin Frost. He's wearing blue and white. Is a black dude. Obviously, you're gonna know what his hair color and beard color is if his name Justin Frost. It's not blue. It's white. So yeah, this is.
Show me some blue frost.
Blue Frost. It sounds like a type of cocaine or something. I don't know. Sounds like someone will be like, "Hey, you want some coke?" Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah. Undertaker, he's not somebody that I get interested
in. Okay, so I'm not going to punch Tim yet. But anyway.
Oh, the cats are awake.
Alright, so yeah, now Tim's cats are about to be making little jingle noises and meowing. But getting back to the show, yeah, Darby Allin lost to Kyle O'Reilly to the 3 penalty kicks and the diving knee off the top. And then, yeah, we had the Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa match. As far as the match was better than the build, to be honest. I wanted to punch the TV each time that they had just a women's segment. Every show for like 30 minutes, they just had the women back to back to back. This match was really good. Thunder Rosa retained. She ended up hitting Serena Deeb with the Fire Thunder Driver. Try saying that 5 times fast. Then we had probably match of the night. Anarchy in the Arena, Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz, and the Blackpool Combat Club, which was Daniel Bryan and John Moxley. Because I think Willa Yuta got injured from the Jericho Appreciation Society, which their gimmick. Anyway, yeah. So this match, Tim, was fucking crazy. To say that this was a hardcore match, this was like, I'm trying to think of a match that would be replicated. You remember that big brawl that happened in TNA when it was like, it spanned like the whole
episode?
Yeah, it was like the whole episode of TNA when it was like Main Event Mafia,
yes,
and the Front Line.
My favorite episode, period.
So
it was actually the first episode I watched. It was the same episode where I think Tara and Awesome Kong wrestled. No, yeah, they wrestled previously in the match. They were doing a battle royale. The first match was a battle royale to see who's going to be the female representative of the Main Event Mafia. And it was like Tara, Awesome Kong, and who was the woman they got? It's Jackie Brooks. So I don't remember what her name was, but
I don't think Jackie Brooks was still in the company.
I don't remember who it was, but
I'm thinking about Jackie Moore. No, I'm thinking about Jacqueline. My fault. Jacqueline wasn't there. I don't think anymore. But yeah. So basically, take that match, shorten it down, but put Mox and his crew against Jericho and his crew. And it was, I'm telling y'all, instead of the show being called Blood and Guts, it need to be called Blood and Mustard, because this thing started red hot. It was a lot of blood. There was a lot going on as far as like action at every different parts of the arena. It was a funny spot where Jericho and Moxley were fighting, and Moxley got into this like this electric wheelchair, and looked like Jericho was like in a sleeper hold, and Jericho was trying to control it himself. I guess Moxley was nah, fuck that, so they got off of it. I don't think it worked either. But then Eddie Kingston was fighting. I want to say it was Daniel Garcia, I believe. Maybe it was someone else. But they got the fighting, and Eddie Kingston started using some mustard, and just the visual of Eddie Kingston with blood and mustard on his shirt. I don't know why I was calling the show Blood and Mustard instead of Blood and Guts. I'm hashtagging that. Hashtag Blood and Mustard instead of Blood and Guts. But yeah, the match was awesome though. It was action all over the ring. I love hardcore matches. I love Falls Count Anywhere. Not really death matches per se, because I'm not one of those guys that like seeing people get like cut with blades and shit. But just as far as a specialty match, this one was better than any of the Blood and Guts matches. Better than any of the Stadium Stampede matches, and you can quote me on that. The finish came where Tim, there's a visual of Eddie Kingston walking down the ramp with a gas jug, and he had blood and mustard all over his shirt. The visual, I gotta find the video because I actually went back and watched it a little bit ago. Just the visual of seeing him walking down with that, man, it was. People talking about like how Becky Lynch had blood coming from her face whenever she was standing in the crowd, or Austin 316 like with the Bret Hart sharpshooter. This visual, like, I'm gonna show it to you right now.
Oh. Oh God, this isn't wrestling. He's trying to murder that man. Oh my God.
So
he's about to kill him.
So at that point, Dan Bryan and Eddie Kingston start fighting. Moxley tried to break it up, but yeah, it didn't work. So then the baddies, Jake Hager and Chris Jericho, they was able to get the upper hand. Jericho puts Bryan Danielson into the walls of Jericho, and then Jake Hager comes up with the ring ropes and turnbuckle that Moxley had took off earlier, started choking him out, kind of like that visual of Benoit and Jericho with their double submission. It was kind of like that, but they was able to choke out Danielson, which I'm pissed off about. If we're looking at the story, it should have been Kingston or even Moxley being choked out. I would like to see Kingston being the one getting choked out over Bryan Danielson. I feel like it really hurts Danielson, and I hate that he had to be the one to take the I guess you can call it submission, even though the referee waved off. He didn't visually tap, but they say he passed her, even though I seen him like catch himself to fall or whatever. But anyway, match of the night, everything about it, I liked it, loved it. I really wanted more of it, but yeah, can't try no more. As far as that, from what you've seen, obviously you've seen it was dope. Go back and watch it. Then we had the triple threat tag team match. This match was dope for a lot of reasons. You had Ricky Starks, who is the FTW champion. I need them to do more with that belt. And he was teaming with Powerhouse Will Hobbs, going up against the team of your boy, Isaiah Swerve Scott, and Keith Lee, going up against Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. This is for the AEW Tag Team Championships. This match, Man, I didn't care who won it. Honestly, I want the titles to come off of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, which I think what will happen. Y'all can quote me on this too. I feel like Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, they're going to lose the titles either due to some type of chicanery where something happens and maybe Jungle Boy loses focus, or Christian interferes and betrays Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. But I do know Christian's going to turn heel. Christian going to turn heel probably. It's gotta be before. It's gonna be definitely before the next pay-per-view they do. I do know that they're going to sell Christian against Jungle Boy. I know that's the route that they're going to see. You see the seeds being planted right now, so I think that that's going to be a money match as well. I would love to see Christian against Jungle Boy.
What would be the motivation for that?
Well, so they've been planting the seeds for some reason for Christian to turn on Jungle Boy. I think because he's seeing that Jungle Boy doesn't have that winning instinct that Christian had, say with either his incarnation of his team with Edge of Christian, or even how instant classic Christian was in TNA. So I think that is where it's coming from. Maybe Christian is trying to get Jungle Boy to be on the same level as he was, and maybe he's not seeing that he has a killer instinct. But I think that's where we're going to get. It was a scary bump that happened. I can't remember. I want to say Swerve or Keith Lee threw Ricky Starks out of the ring. And I know Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy was supposed to catch him. But I don't know how. But Ricky Starks, they didn't catch him, and he just went over and looked like he landed on his shoulders and on his neck. It was a sick. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at what happened after. It was a sick bump. But what happened was, after that, Keith Lee was sitting there looking at what happened, him and Swerve. And Keith Lee just started singing, "Oh my God." And it was like the funniest thing in the world. But the match was, after that, it was just fast paced. We seen a lot of big house fights. Luchasaurus against Will Hobbs against Keith Lee. I mean, obviously the smaller guys, they did their thing. Ricky Starks, I hope he becomes AEW World Champion one day. I hope to see it. I hope to see that. I hope Isaiah Swerve Scott can really get to his potential. Or I keep on calling him Scott. It's Strickland, but
I just want Ricky Starks to be a solid mid card first.
Oh no, I hope that as well. I need them to do more with this FTW title belt.
Yeah, make it the hardcore championship belt.
But he's not a hardcore wrestler though. I don't feel like. I feel like he can get to that point.
He's not. No, he is not. 100%. But that's the only thing the FTW championship can be. It's the only remaining remnants of ECW because it belongs to Taz alone.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing it could truly be.
I agree. I mean, I see where your mind is with it, but if they're gonna do it, I need Ricky Starks to not have that title. Hell, give him the TNT title. I mean, I love Scorpio Sky, but I can see Ricky Starks as someone you need on TV every week. That's my 2 cents about it. But yeah, match was great. Honestly, I wanted either Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs to win it, or my actual favorites to win it. I thought they would have been Keith Lee and Swerve, but that didn't happen. Christian got involved, helped out the boys to be able to win it. So Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus won with that backflipping powerbomb that they do. But yeah, the match was really dope. And then we got to the main event, which was the AEW World Championship match. Hangman Adam Page against Crime Management Punk, aka CM Punk. Okay, I got a little laugh at you. Y'all like that?
Like Crime Management. What the hell?
Okay, look. I gotta think of anything else. I mean, I know you got Chick Magnet, you got Chicago Made Punk. Trying to think of some creative. I had like probably a second to do it. It didn't work. Anyway, this match, I liked the match, but again, it was another round of botches. CM Punk, do not try to do that what's his clothesline called? What is Hangman's clothesline called? Buckshot Lariat. Yeah. Punk messed up twice on the Buckshot Lariat. He messed up once. And then he tried to do it again. I guess he didn't learn his lesson. Messed up twice. It was bad, and the crowd obviously seen it. And everyone obviously was like, oh my God, why would he try it again? And then, to make matters worse, Hangman hit a last ride on Punk. And what do you think happened to him?
Botchamania?
Punk's ass came out.
Wait, literally?
His ass was out. And you can see, it was a point where he was laying down after a pinfall. And the referee had to help Punk pull his trunks up.
Oh my God.
Man, I was sitting there just laughing my ass off. But, I mean, the match was still cool. I think it was a great match. I think that was a great way to end the show. Punk won after Hangman was using the title belt as a weapon because the referee got knocked out after Punk went for a GTS. Hangman ended up throwing it down, went for another buckshot lariat. Punk caught it into a GTS to beat the champion. And now we got CM Punk as AEW champion. And he is the only man to hold the ECW title, the OG version of the title, hold the AEW title, hold the WWE title, and to hold the Ring of Honor title.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
if only he would have won big in TNA. If only.
Yeah.
Then he would have been the first man to hold... Wait. You know what? I'm not happy about that. Period.
Why not?
I feel like... I'm glad that I'm glad that Adam Hangman Page has lost the title, but honestly, if events weren't happening as they were, I feel like he would have beat Punk and lost it to MJF. Punk's whole thing was to help mold younger talent and work with younger talent. So I don't think this was a his choice thing.
Yeah.
I don't like Adam Hangman Page as a heavyweight title holder.
I was getting bored of his reign, to be honest. That's not a knock on him, but I didn't like him as champion.
The story...
Yeah, the story leading up to it with him and Omega was fire. Yes.
But that's it. You know, he didn't have enough personality as it is. This is how he debuted. He debuted as a member of the Elite that acted like he was a forgotten son, even though he wasn't, and started turning on his friends before they turned on him. Mm-hmm. And then he was like half healed, and then somehow Kenny turned and 100% became a heel. He's like, hey man, I thought I was the bad guy. What are you doing? Oh well, I guess I'm the badder guy.
And then he got lost in the shuffle. Hangman did for a minute.
It didn't really make no sense. So after all that happens, you get this guy who has beat the unbeatable Kenny Omega, and then you have him go up against Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, only to lose. And it's like, hey, you know, I get it. I get the build up to that. Of course, he has to beat Daniel Bryan. You're not going to give him the title just for him to lose it that soon. It's AEW. They're not doing their heavyweight like that. That being said, Daniel Bryan, though, Bryan Danielson, like,
yeah,
Hangman ain't beating Danielson. Period. And the only reason Hangman didn't beat Punk is because it made sense. That being said, if you're going to have him beat Danielson, you might as well have him beat Punk.
That's what I'm saying.
Danielson is more in prime.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when I was looking, I knew that they was going to have their rematch, which I know it was basically like you had Kenny Omega having probably one of the matches of the year last year with Danielson, and then you have Hangman and Danielson going the distance again, but it goes to a draw. Then you have Hangman beating Danielson. I didn't like that decision, and I thought to myself, if he beats Danielson and Punk, I don't know who's going to be Hangman. The only person I thought that probably would beat him would have been MJF. But kind of like how you said, I wish the roles would have been reversed where it would have been, say, Kenny gets beat by Hangman. Then Punk beat Hangman. Then you start the feud with Punk and MJF. And MJF beats Punk in this way. Instead of it being where MJF beats Punk twice and then Punk beats him in the end. Or if you want to do it, however you want to structure it, but I would rather the timeline would have been different. But regardless, however the case may be, Punk ends the show crying with the AEW title. It's a feel-good moment. People been wanting Punk to, be back in wrestling. I'm happy for it.
I wanted the next AEW champion to be someone who was neither elite or ex-WWE.
Who would you... If you had to pick someone to be champion right now, who would it be besides MJF?
Besides MJF?
Mm-hmm.
Currently?
Yeah. Because I wanted Scorpio Sky at one point.
I wanted Scorpio Sky in the beginning because they kind of...
They screw him over with that whole Chris Jericho thing.
Yeah. Out of everybody that is currently in AEW, that is currently actively wrestling, and when I say currently actively wrestling, I mean obviously everybody wants to say Brian Cage, but he's not really wrestling right now. I am going to give it to, out of the current roster, Wardlow. He's not ex-WWE. He is not an elite, and he is a good worker. He could carry on those matches. Next to him, honestly, out of everybody, Ricky Starks, he does great work where he is. He can carry himself like a good heel world heavyweight champion. So 100% facts, Ricky Starks would be a great one. Who else? Because I know I'm missing somebody.
Anybody from the Pillars, like as far as Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin?
No, but I think with the right.
Who's the other pillar? I feel like I'm missing one.
Darby Allin, MJF, Sammy Guevara, and
it's a fourth.
Damn, Jungle Boy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
This person, if they could be given more mic time, honestly, this person right that I'm about to name, they could have a rapid surprise push and carry it. Luchasaurus. A lot of people.
I got a homeboy named CB that hates Luchasaurus.
Well, you can hate him all you want to, but you can't deny the facts. He's got great ring abilities on singles matches.
Side note, I gotta get Max and CB on this because you and Max, I mean you and CB will be gold to listen to.
Like, here's the facts, and check this out, CB. Luchasaurus is great in the ring, and he's actually great on the mic. If he could stop doing the dinosaur puns, which I get it, it's his gimmick. That's the only cringy thing about him. He's actually got the solid marks. If they gave him a push right now as a face, he could carry it straight to the gold. Like, straight up. I'll argue that with anybody because Hobbs ain't there yet. He ain't got the mic skills yet.
I think he has the best hot tag in wrestling right now.
Wardlow just came out of this feud, and it really wouldn't make sense for him to go up against Punk right now because, quite frankly, Wardlow, in storyline wise, he's technically just now become all elite. He needs to earn his way right there. It's not going to be someone like Jake Hager. It's not going to be Jericho. It's not going to be Jungle Boy. He's been shadowed by Darby Allin and Sting, by MJF, and by Jungle Boy. This is how the pillars were. It was everybody's top pick, MJF, tied with Darby Allin, and then Sammy Guevara tied with Jungle Boy. There was no bottom. And now it's a solid. MJF is the favorite. Darby Allin is seconded. And the only reason Darby Allin is seconded is because Sammy Guevara is becoming hated and Jungle Boy is becoming stale. Like, people want to like Jungle Boy, but right now they're booking him stalely because they kind of taken away his character. Then you don't really want to like Sammy Guevara. Half of them are jealous because of Tay Conti. I'm one of them. Oh Tay. And they're really becoming unbearably in your face about this relationship. Like, hey, we get it, y'all fuck. Shut up and leave us alone. Wrestle.
Do you think that they're doing the same thing?
I think she can sit on my face. What did you say?
Ladies and gentlemen, back to what we was talking about. Wow, we might get demonetized for that. Yeah, so back to what we were talking about as far as championship man Punk.
What was the question? What was your question that I did?
I really don't know, Tim. You messed me up with that one.
The new order of operations is more than likely going to be Darby Allin up top. Because he's the only one that's not 100% hated right now. The thing that people hate about Darby Allin the most right now is just Sting. Which I don't hate him. I like it. But it's going to be Darby Allin. If this isn't a work, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, because I can see them turning around with Jungle Boy now that they've lost the belts. To Sammy Guevara, to MJF. And when I say MJF last, it's because really, if none of this is a work, and this is really MJF, I think the wrestling fans are going to say, hey, you know what? You really bit the hand that fed you this time, buddy. You think you're that good? Well, guess what? You were because of them. Because nowhere else he can go. People aren't going to tune into Impact Wrestling to watch MJF.
No.
He's not big enough for me to watch MJF on Impact. And would I like to see him in WWE? Yeah, who wouldn't? The issue is, the minute I see him at WWE, I'm like, why did I even like this guy? Because they're not going to let him be who he is. They're not going to let him be what got himself over. And people is like, oh yeah, if you can make it to WWE, if you can't cut it in WWE, you can't cut it. You're just not meant to. Hey, no. WWE is very much like New York. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere because it's so hard to actually get yourself there. You're talking about not putting in the work. Zack Ryder, Tyler Rex, Ty Dillinger, Kurt Hawkins, Heath Slater, Drake Maverick. If you're wondering why I'm naming all these no-name jobbers, well, guess what? Those are people that had their own storylines and were literally swatted down. Drake Maverick pissed himself just to make the product better and still got swatted.
Hell, he got fired and then got rehired.
Rehired just for a story and going to then fired again. Ty Dillinger was told to stop doing the thing that was putting him over because they wanted the other people to be be cheered more than him. How do you defend that? Seriously. Hey guys, you would have been better if it weren't for the fact that you were doing that thing that was getting you over that they told you to stop doing.
But I mean, you even think about the people they got that was hot. You can see little spurts of that. Look at Christian in WWE. I feel like Christian's little run when he had the Peep Show and he was with Tomko, he was doing some good stuff, but he wasn't getting the airtime that he needed.
Because Vince didn't like him. He even told him straight to his face he didn't like him.
But then you go to when he left and went to TNA, and what he did in TNA in that, what was it, like 3 or 4 years? He debuted in 2005. He was there till I want to say 2008, 2009. I mean, I loved Christian during this time. Like, Christian Cage was my dude. Like, his championship win, his match against Abyss, I really loved it. Lockdown 2006. I mean, even the rivalry he had with Samoa Joe, his stuff with Angle and with AJ, I feel like the boy was doing his best work in probably his whole career. But just think back to what we were talking about as far as the pillars. It's going to be interesting to see what happens now. I don't know who Punk feuds with now at this point, or if we're going to see a heel turn that we've all been, kind of waiting on. But yeah, I mean that was the show as far as Double or Nothing is concerned. My issue with the show, which I did say a lot about, the botches and nothing really happening in the show, only because the show was so long. Like, we need to go back to the days of NXT takeovers in its heyday, where you had the main 5 matches, your best storylines, or your championship matches. They need to be the ones that's automatically on the show. So you need to have the AEW men's and women's belts, have the TBS title, have the TNT championship, have the I feel like I'm missing one. The tag titles, and have if you're gonna do something with the FTW title, which you need to have that on there. If not, just have those world titles on the line at the show. Let that be your show. Have a hot opener so you can start with either TBS title or the tag titles. Then you have wherever you're going to have in the middle. Have the women's title be somewhere in there, either in the beginning or in the end. And then have the men's AEW championship, which probably going to be the main event because that's normally the hottest feud in the company. Have that be your main event. 5 to 6 matches is all you need for a wrestling show. You don't need as many matches as you had being drawn out. You don't need to have Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa in a 16-minute match. I think that's what the time was. Can't really remember. I'm going to go to my phone and see, because it was a long-ass match. Like, the matches that they had, they were not terrible, but they were just so long. Like, that's the only knock that I can give it. Like, Punk and Hangman went 25 minutes. All right, that's your world title. That's fine. That's your main event as well, so that's cool. The Anarchy in the arena match, that one went 22 minutes. It didn't really feel like that. It was a fun match. Your Thunder Rosa Serena Deeb match went 16 minutes and 52 seconds. That one, the match was fine, but it didn't have to go that long. Kyle O'Reilly and Darby went 10 minutes. That one you could say for Dynamite or Rampage. The match with American Top Team, all that one went 12 minutes. It didn't have to go that long either. Britt Baker and Ruby Soho went 14. That one could have been cut down. It's a lot of these matches that I'm saying. A lot of these could have been cut down and been done a little bit better. Moved to different shows. I mean, a lot of these shows, Dark and Elevation, needs some more spice and more attention. So move whatever card you were going to do for Rampage. You could have split this and done it on Rampage and Dynamite. I don't know, man. Right now I'm just rambling and ranting right now, only because I was just mad because I had to watch. It felt like 4 hours to 30 minutes of wrestling. And I don't need that much. I just need like a solid 2.5, 3 hours of wrestling, and I'm a happy camper. Pay-per-views can be 3 hours. That'll be my exception, but Raw was long as fuck. SmackDown now is an afterthought since Roman isn't really there. So, I don't know, man. Tim, I'll let you close this out.
Ramsey, I'm going to ask you this. So on a scale of Huggy Bears and melted gummy worms in a car, what would you rate?
Double or Nothing?
Yeah.
What was the scale again? Tell me again.
Huggy Bears and melted gummy worms in a car.
I'm assuming. Honestly, I would say I love gummy worms. Number one. I don't want to say the melted gummy worms because gummy worms make my stomach hurt too. I got IBS, so I can't be eating no gummy worms like that. I guess I have to go with probably cold pizza. I would say cold pizza. Because I got something that I really want to enjoy. I really want to enjoy this show. Because the match card looks good. But then at the same time, I get this large pizza. And it's only me eating this pizza. So now I got this pizza I really want to enjoy while it's hot and ready. But it takes me so long to eat the other pieces. Now I still got leftovers. And I'm just like, okay, well, what the fuck am I going to do with this? Now it gets cold. Now I got to reheat it. I hate reheating food. sometimes I want to throw it out, but it's people starving for food, so me wasting food doesn't make me feel good. So now I got this box of cold pizza. And I don't want to really have cold pizza. That's how I felt about like the Darby and Kyle O'Reilly match, the TBS title match, the Hardys versus the Beyond Bucks. Yeah, so cold pizza is why I rate this show.
Well, cool. I'm going to cut it off at that. So, guys, this has been the Archetype Guild's actually first podcast, The Story So Far, with the Body Slam Poetry segment. So, we're going to say goodbye. Have a great day. Have a nice life if you never come back. And stay frosty with this transition.